I'm Mary Beth Sewald, President and CEO of the Vegas Chamber, and I'm very honored to be at our nation's capital with the Vegas Chamber. And we are here today with our Secretary of State, Cisco Aguilar. Cisco, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Mary Beth, for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You know, we've got 300 of our closest friends from Nevada here in Washington, D.C., and they just heard a very impassioned I don't want to call it a speech, but your remarks to them about the security of Nevada's election and voter system. So talk to us about that.
Look, Nevada runs some of the safest, most secure and accessible elections in the country. We are investing heavily to ensure that we are building the best systems we can have statewide. We just completed our implementation of VREMS, the Voter Registration Election Management System, which is going to help unify the entire state and also bring transparency to the process for the voters.
You also talked about poll workers, the importance of poll workers, and you're asking for people to volunteer for that job.
Yes, I say this all the time. Without poll workers and election workers, we don't get to have our fundamental right to vote. They are critical to the process. We need them. They are the unsung heroes of our democracy. So when you see a poll worker, please thank them for their service because they're really doing it because they love our country, they love our community, and they want to ensure everybody has the opportunity to have a voice.
Yeah, and it's kind of a thankless job, but I think it's one of the most important things that we could do, our civic duty.
Correct.
Really, especially here in Nevada. So you're saying that Nevadans should feel very confident that their votes are going to be counted correctly.
Absolutely. We've been training for this moment for 18 months since I've taken office to ensure every county across our state, from the rural counties to our urban core, are prepared and ready to deal with the participation rate that we're going to have in this general election for the presidential.
And compared to other states, I'm sure you've done your research, you know everything there is to know about all the other states and how we stack up. How would you assess the effectiveness of the security measures that you're taking?
Absolutely, and that goes back to our new system, VREMS, and Voter Registration Election Management System. Oregon's been working for 3 years to implement the system.
That's what they have?
They're on it, they're working towards it. We actually did it in 14 months. So we have state-of-the-art technology in Nevada to help manage the election, to manage our voter rolls. And beyond that, we're working to build the cybersecurity around that system even more. We know Nevada is a battleground state. We know people are going to have great interest in the outcome of the election in our state, and we need to ensure that the voters can be confident that their vote is actually going to count and it is going to matter. Their vote does matter than most states.
It does matter. It's so critically important, especially here in Nevada as a swing state. And you were talking about implementing VREMS, and that prior to that, we had 17 different systems throughout Nevada. How on earth did that work?
Well, and that was because that was a bottom-up voter registration process. We implemented the top-down voter registration with the new system. The 17 counties were all supported by different vendors. Some of the counties had systems that the vendor no longer even exists. So when you talk about cybersecurity, there were major efforts we needed to make quickly to ensure every county was protected in Nevada.
And you feel confident that all that is all squared away and that we're safe?
I'm confident, but we need to keep doing more. We need to be prepared. We need to keep the conversation going. And this is not something that's just happening in my office. This is an initiative that involves all of government. I'm grateful for the governor and Chief of Staff Cherry for the support that they've given the project, but also being there to help us make some of the critical decisions we've had to make throughout the process.
And talk to us a little bit about accessibility. Folks with disabilities, who can vote and so forth.
Absolutely, and that's a great thing about Nevada. Yes, we have some of the safest, most secure elections, but we're also accessible. You don't have to give up safety and security to be accessible. You know, we have 2 weeks of early voting. Every eligible voter in Nevada gets a mail ballot. We have our e-system, which is the digital mobile process. Any Nevadan overseas can use the e-system to participate in the election. We also expanded it to tribal members living on a reservation, but the group that's really found it the most useful are disabled individuals who are homebound. This really allows them to take the time to participate, but also do it in a way that they're able to do it.
And that'll be especially effective in the rurals.
Absolutely, especially when you look at the adoption rates of the mail program. The adoption rate is pretty high. Nye County has the highest adoption rate of mail ballots. And I think because they understand that it takes time to participate in our democracy, but also they can do it on their terms when they are comfortable.
So let's go back to poll workers for a second.
Yes.
I know you're really looking to recruit volunteers. What are we doing to make sure that the poll workers are going to be safe?
What we're doing is, it started 18 months ago with the legislature. We proposed legislation, SB 406, that makes it a felony to harass or intimidate election workers and poll workers. That is building a safe environment for anybody that is there at a polling location or in the election center where the ballot process is taking place. VREM's the new system also has a direct communication piece that if a poll worker feels uncomfortable at any moment, rather than raising their hand or making an issue, escalating it, they can send a message to their manager or to the election center, say, we have a situation, I need some help. We get that message and we can deal with it without escalating it to anything that would occur.
Excellent. This system is great.
I love it. It's, and the good thing about the system, it's been already used in Clark County. So the poll workers in Clark County have seen it. They know the difference of what this system makes. It's easier on the voter, it's easier on the poll worker, but it is still safe and secure.
And does VREMS also impact the timeliness of getting the results?
It does, and this is the way it does, is build efficiencies into the process so the clerks in their local county can focus on processing ballots rather than the administrative responsibilities that they had to focus on before. This system allows me to have a statewide dashboard that I can dig down into the actual precinct, and I can look at voter trends. I can see who's voting by mail, who's voting in person. We can send extra support if there's a polling location that needs that extra support. So it helps us plan better and build efficiencies into the process so the clerks can really focus on processing ballots to be able to get results out to Nevadans.
So what time frame do you expect it'll, how long is it going to take to get the
Well,
results?
I'd say during the June primary where we tested the system and we built a new process that the clerks had to learn. We had results out within 10 minutes after the last voter. So I think it was 8:04 on primary night. This is going to be a different turnout model, but we are still preparing to hopefully be able to do something similar.
Boy, Mr. Secretary, I'm going to be watching on election night, not only for the who wins the election and the outcome, but also how Nevada does.
Right. Look, and that's my goal. Look, we are at a disadvantage in the country because we're in the Pacific time zone. We are a battleground state. We matter to the rest of the country, and people have to sit there for a significant amount of time until it's time that we need to give our voters the opportunity to vote.
No pressure.
My goal is for nobody to know who I am after this election cycle.
That's
my goal.
That is a great goal. No hanging chads in Nevada.
Results are out. People can make the decisions they need to make with the data that's there. And so we'll do two major releases. One is the early vote, early mail, ballots processed up until 6 p.m. on election day. And then we'll do another release later that evening of everybody who voted in person throughout Nevada.
All right. Well, great work, Mr. Secretary. We appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Secretary of State Cisco Aguilar, thank you for your service to the state of Nevada, and we're wishing you all the best of luck.
Thank you to you and your colleagues. Glad to be here.
Thank you.